this video, I'm doing a little refresh on my 1962 Morris Mini Woody Wagon rear suspension and rear subframe. Now, normally on a Mini this isn't a huge job, but look at this. It is pretty rusty. It's been sitting since 1988, and everything's pretty stuck. The gas tank's here too and kind of rotten, so I'll have to change that. So yeah, let's get into it. The subframe, I actually broke, I think, half the bolts taking it out, unfortunately. I was able to drill out what was left and salvage the thread. So there's a few shiny bolts holding the subframe in now, but that'll be our little secret. As for the rest of it, it went relatively smooth. It is kind of a disgusting procedure on this. It is dry suspension. Later on they changed to wet suspension, but I don't believe the long wheelbase cars ever got the hydroelastic. Interesting little mini tidbit. For how rusty the subframe was, the bottom of the wagon is actually in surprisingly good shape. Just kind of minimal surface rust. The brake line and the fuel lines are basically toast, but look at the spare wheel well. Not bad at all. Now it's time to take apart the rear subframe. Everything's kind of a little rusty and stuck, so it just needs to all be taken apart and gone through. Check out the bolt holding the one radius arm. It's kind of like rotten on the edge, and the other bolt, the head's a little sideways. Yep, gonna need new hardware. The main bearing in both radius arms was totally stuck, as was the e-brake cable lever here. Speaking of rust, it's actually black at one point, and look at all that rust. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of cleaning off rust flakes. Look at all those rust flakes. Nice. Actually, for how flaky the subframe was, it was pretty solid. I think this was kind of the main rust concern, and there's a tiny little hole. Not too bad. Oh yeah, there's also this hole. Yeah, rust flakes. We get it. Time to remove the gas tank. So other than the fuel line itself, there's only 6 screws holding the tank in. And after all those are undone, it actually stayed in place. I had to pull it down. And look at all those rust flakes. Ooh. It's a good thing my camera doesn't record smell for a few reasons, but mainly due to the fact that this gas tank smelled terrible. The 40-year-old potent fuel smell filled up the shop, which was not very nice. Not sure the exact reasoning behind my decision to waste an evening here, but I thought I could revive this old brake valve thing. Turns out I can't. I was hoping to heat up the brake lines and take it apart, but I don't know. I just bought a new one. But not before filling up the shop with old brake fluid smoke, so that was nice. Oh yeah. So the rear subframe, I was actually thinking of painting it, but I decided to just clean it and spray it with some rust fighter. This is just a wax. The idea is just to preserve this. It would be nice to keep this wagon as original as possible, and it's actually in pretty good shape, the subframe. Thing is, new parts are always just a little different, and it's just cool to keep the original stuff. So I sprayed in all the cavities, and I think it should protect it pretty well. I mean, I'm obviously not going to be driving it in the winter. It's going to be kept inside, and I think it should last. We'll see. It's kind of an experiment as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm kind of curious. This is a good idea or a bad idea, but I think it should preserve it. Yes. I got some new plastic for the gas tank and got the original screws replated. So this should go well with another gas tank I sourced. So it's an original wagon gas tank, but just in good shape. Alright, the underside has been cleaned and waxed as well. I'm surprised that the foam for the gas tanks has remained as good shape as it is. This whole car is kind of a preservation style restoration, I guess you could call it. I'm going through everything, but I kind of want to keep it as original as possible. It's never been messed with, and to me that's kind of special. And the bottom, it's very solid. It's only original once. I feel like some wax will preserve it. Like I said before, it's not going in the rain or anything, so I think this should last. I don't know. Let me know what you think, but look how solid this is. Very cool. Now that the bottom is clean, the gas tank can go in. I put a new sender in, and it'll go in with the new screws and hardware. Just putting some new bushings in. I did replace this arm here. The old one was kind of rotten, but I was able to reuse the top one, and then just new bushings as well. And, well, the subframe's ready to bolt back in. Ooh, the radius arms are cleaned, new shocks. I got new adjustable suspension to replace these ugly things. Oh yeah. So, I didn't really video it, but the needle bearings in the radius arms I did take apart and clean up and re-grease. So, able to put those in. These are the adjustable, I guess they're called high-lows. Now, I just want to be able to adjust the height on the Mini. I want it a little lower. Here's a new brake valve thingy. Flex lines, hard lines, and wheel cylinders. It's super nice to have the original manual to see how the brakes actually go together. The springs and, the wheel cylinders. Just making sure that's right. And again, I did not film this, but I did bend the hard lines, and I actually believe I would have put the one brake line in first before putting the subframe in. So anyway, that's that. It's done. The brakes work. I have a feeling I did something in the wrong order here, because I think I tried putting this arm in first, and the radius arm had to go out. I forget how I did this. I definitely am in thinking mode right now, as you can see. Okay, so this guy goes in. I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, well, that worked. Mission failed successfully. So, these are just some temporary rollers before I get the wheels I actually want. These are just off my red Mini. But, for now, I can set it back on its wheels, and I'll tackle the front. And then when the front brakes are done, then I can go through these again and bleed everything. But for now, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.